Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing great. For SAT students, the major problem or the hardest section of any SAT exam is the reading section. And the best book to master this part is The Critical Reader by Erica L. Meltzer. So I decided to use the month of Ramadan to make a free course explaining this book. We will start with our first lesson, Vocabulary in Context, moving through the book till we finish with graphics and data analysis. Okay guys, so what's vocabulary in context? Here we have an example. The Cruz family moved from their dilapidated house to a new beautiful house. Can you figure out the meaning of dilapidated? How did you do it? What helped you? I have here a kind of comparison, right? Between the new beautiful house and the dilapidated house. So the word dilapidated means another example. Mary was aloof. On the other hand, her brother Bob could easily make friends with everyone. So what does the word in bold aloof mean? How can we figure out the meaning? To figure out the meaning of vocabulary in context, we can dissect it to two parts. Vocabulary, which means the words in a passage, in an article, essay, paragraph. In context means in relation to the words around them. So, how do you guess the meaning of unfamiliar words? There are words or phrases around an unfamiliar word that can help you understand the meaning of a new word, and these words and phrases are called context clues. What are the types of context clues that we have? We have the definitions, restatement or synonyms, contrast or antonyms, comparison, examples, list of series, cause and effect, description, or inference. Let's explain each type. The first type of context clues, and which is also the easiest way, is the definitions, which is a phrase or a word linked to the unfamiliar or unknown word. We have two examples here. Entomology, which is the study of insects. You cannot know what is entomology unless you read the definition of it. And also archaeology, which is the scientific study of prehistoric cultures by digging deep into the remains. Like to dig deep for and look for old buildings or objects that have been buried for a long time. So the definitions here will give you the meaning of the word. The second type of context clues is the synonyms. A synonym is a meaning of the unfamiliar word. You will find it before it or after it, separated from the rest of the sentence with commas, dashes, or parentheses. Let's have an example. Meat eaters, and then between two commas, that is carnivores, are at the top of the food chain. So if you don't know what is meat eaters, you can use what's between two commas, the carnivores. The second example, the goslings. What is a gosling? Okay, you will find the meaning or the synonym between two dashes after that. Those fuzzy baby geese were swimming after their mother. So you know now that a gosling is a goose. She enjoyed biology. Maybe some of us don't know biology, but I think you know. You will find the meaning between two brackets, which is the study of living things. The third type of context clues is the contrast or antonym. An antonym is a word which is the opposite of the unfamiliar word you're trying to understand. Usually you will find in the sentence or the adjacent sentence a transition like but or however or although, which connects two different ideas or two ideas in opposition or in contrast. An example, Mike's parrot was loquacious. I don't know what's loquacious. Let's continue. But Maria's parrot only said very little. Okay, I know the word but. It's a transition that connects two different ideas or two different meanings. And what's after but is the opposite of what's before it. What's after but says that the other parrot said only very little. So must be the other parrot talked too much or was talkative. So loquacious must mean talkative or talking a lot. We have here another type of context clues, which is the comparison. Usually the unfamiliar word is shown to be the same as another word. How can I know that? When I find a clue like to, like, as, similar to, similarly, in the same way, which will represent the second word. Let's have an example. Women are enthralled by fashion and jewelry, similar to the way that men are fascinated by cars and sports. If you don't know what the word enthralled means, you can use the clue similar to. So they are enthralled by fashion, the same way men are fascinated by cars. So I know what or how men are fascinated. They are excited. They are giving so much attention to cars and sports. The same way women are enthralled by fashion. So enthralled must mean fascinated or excited or giving attention to. Another type of context clues is giving an example. The unfamiliar word could be clarified or explained by an example. And usually you will find a clue like, for instance, such as, or for example. Our example here is, the archaeologist found different amulets, such as a rabbit's foot and bags of herbs near the ancient altar. So if you don't know what is an amulet, it's followed by such as, which is your clue here, a rabbit's foot and bags of herbs. So two examples of amulets are rabbit's foot and bags of herbs. List of series is another context clue. The unfamiliar word is included in a series of related words that give an idea of the word's meaning. Signal words like include or consist of or comprise. An example, North American predators include grizzly bears, pumas, wolves, and foxes. If you don't know what is a predator, you can guess the meaning of the word from the list of series followed the word. So must be a predator like the bear and the puma and the wolf and the fox. And all of them are carnivores or animals that kill and eat other animals. So must be the word predators, animals that kill and eat other animals. You guessed the meaning from this list. Cause and effect relationships could be used as context clues too. Signal words: due to, because, as a result, so, consequently. An example: due to a dearth of fish, the seagulls almost died of hunger. So, because of the dearth of fish, the seagulls died of hunger. Couldn't find anything to eat. So, must be a dearth of fish means lack or shortage of fish.
Let's study this example together. When Sabiro joined the track and field team at Bukio High School, the sport was enjoying a popularity it had not known before the war. Track and field. Track and field is the sport in which you can compete in running or jumping. At Bukio High School, it's a Japanese school, the sport was enjoying a popularity it had not known before the war, so it was growing and prospering after the war. The track and field sport. At the time, okay, give special attention to transitions and punctuation marks. At the time, few schools could afford baseball bats or gymnastic equipment. Okay, so he's making here a contrast between the first sentence and the second. Track and field was growing and prospering and gaining more popularity. On the other hand, other sports like baseball and gymnastics were declining. Okay. And there was something in the simplicity of the sport. So here, what's special about track and field? Something special about track and field is the simplicity. Simplicity is the quality of being simple. Of the sport, dash, usually what's after the dash will be an explanation to what's before. So it's going to explain the simplicity between two dashes. What kind of simplicity? The straight path to the goal, the dramatic finish line. So the exciting finish line and the simplicity of the sport itself. It's simple, it's just a straight path, somebody's running, so you can follow, you can understand. These two things stirred the community to yells and often tears, excited the community to screams and shouts, like fans of football. On Sundays, entire families came outdoors to cheer, to enjoy their time. Thermoses of cold wheat tea slung across their chests. Thermos. So this kind of vacuum bottle in which where you keep your liquids hot or cold. This is a thermos. So thermoses of cold wheat tea slung across their chests, they sat on woven mats and munched. To munch. To eat. But to eat noisily. Cheerfully. Okay. On rice bowls, roasted potatoes, hard-boiled eggs, and pickled shoots of fuki. When you're talking about a plant and saying shoots, you mean the stems and leaves of a plant. Stems and leaves of a plant. The fuki is a Japanese plant. Let's go and answer our question. As used in line 7, stirred most nearly means. Stirred most nearly means. 5, 6, 7. So here, finish on that is that is stirred. That stirred the community yells and often tears. I cannot start it from here, from this dash. I have to back up and start from the period, from the beginning of the sentence. Okay? This rule number 1. If I could not understand the meaning of the word, I have to back up again and read another sentence, like from the beginning. or a sentence after. So I could finish my sentence here and start on Sundays till chess. It depends upon the context I need. You widen your own context till you're able to understand the word. And there was something in the simplicity of the sport, and there was something in the simplicity of the sport. Something special of the sport. And what? Okay, what is and? So there's something before it, right? School, the sport was enjoying. Yes, that's it. The sport was enjoying a popularity it had not known before the war, and there was something special that made it so popular. It's a simplicity, the straight path to the goal. It was easy to follow, the dramatic, the exciting finish line. That stirred the community, the fans, that excited the fans to screams and tears. This is my context. Do you think it's positive context or negative context? The sport is enjoying more popularity, and here he's praising the sport. It's a simplicity, it's a dramatic finish line. The community was stirred or was excited to yells and often tears. And on if you continued, Sundays families came out to cheer. So it's all here. Oh, this is a very positive context. A very positive context. So I need a word that fits this context should be positive. Okay, the word that will replace stir should be positive. So the simplicity stirred the community to yells and often tears. The simplicity, the quality of being simple. I will plug in my own word. Say stirred means, to me here, something like maybe caused or excited. Excited here as a past form of a verb. Number 2, let's go and consider our own choices. That's number 2. Play the process of elimination. See which one is negative, which one is positive. The first choice, forced. I have a positive context. And then I have forced. What do you think about forced? Is it positive or negative? It is. Of course, you don't like to be forced to do anything, so it's negative. And if it's negative, it doesn't fit the positive context, so we can cross that. Choice B, transformed. To transform, let's plug it in. Transformed the community to yells and often tears. To transform the community, to convert the community, to change the community. It doesn't fit the context. It doesn't give any meaning. Yes, it's positive or it's neutral. However, it doesn't work. You can say it's off topic or illogical, or it doesn't give any sense. Choice C, inspired. Okay, the simplicity, the quality of being simple, inspire the community to shouts and tears. It works. It fits the context. And inspire is also positive. Okay, it's positive too. And it fits the context. When you ask a Hollywood star, where did your inspiration for such role came from? So, inspire, something good, something positive. And it fits our context. Choice D, disturbed. Disturbed. To disturb is to prevent a process or an activity from continuing, to interrupt, to stop. So you can say it is positive or negative? Negative, yes. And if it's negative, it doesn't fit our context, which is positive.
Example: every time a car drives through a major intersection, it becomes a data point. An intersection, it's a crossroad, a place where two roads cross each other. Every time a car drives through a major intersection, it becomes a data point. A data point means a unit or a piece of information. Okay. Magnetic. So every time a car drives through a major intersection, it gets monitored or registered as a unit of information or a data point. Magnetic coils of wire lie just directly beneath the pavement, the sidewalk. What do? They register each passing car, registering like reporting or collecting information about each passing car. This starts a cascade of information. You can say a flow of information. So much information. I have here a colon, so what's after the colon will explain what's before it. This will explain that. Computers tally the number and speed of cars. Tally, calculate. Okay. So computers calculate the number and speed of cars, shoot the data through underground cables to the command center, the controlling center, and finally translate it into the colors red, yellow, and green. On the 7th floor of Boston City Hall, the three colors splash, like spray or light up. Like paint across the wall-sized map, the large map. Okay, let's go and try to answer this question together. As used in line 3, registering most nearly means registering. Okay, in line 3. Every time a car drives through a major intersection, it becomes a data point. Magnetic coils of wire lie just beneath the pavement, registering. This is the word. Registering each passing car. Okay, so magnetic coils of wire just beneath the pavement to report, to monitor, to check, to send information. So we can say here to report. Let's put our own word, report. Okay. Report information about each passing car or collect information. This is we plugged in our word. Let's go and consider each choice after that. I have here choice D. Transmit or transmit. Let's plug it in. Magnetic coils of wire lie just beneath the pavement, transmitting each passing car. Actually, it fits the context because transmit, to send out. Transmit means send out information, maybe send out data, signal. But you cannot send out a car. You cannot transmit a car. You transmit a signal. So it doesn't fit. Okay. Inscribe. I don't understand what inscribe means. To inscribe each passing car. If you don't know it, ignore it or keep it to the end as your final choice. When you get sure that the other three choices are wrong, you can think about it. Okay. Recording. So the magnetic coils of wire lie beneath the pavement, record each passing car. Okay, it's report, record, collect information. It matches our word, and it's correct, and it fits in the context. A, choice A, preparing. So the magnetic coils of wire prepare each passing car. So magnetic coils cannot prepare each passing car. They are not a maintenance station or mechanic station. They are just coils of wire. They can send a signal, but they cannot prepare or fix a car. So you can say it doesn't fit. 2. Now you have recording, which fits very much, and inscribe, which you don't know, so you cross add like that. Don't choose an answer because you don't understand it. Usually the answers will be the simplest, like recording here. And by the way, inscribe means engrave or carve into or write on. And it also doesn't match our context. Example 3. Until the past few years, physicists agree that the entire universe is generated from a few mathematical truths and principles of symmetry, perhaps throwing in a handful of parameters like the mass of an electron. Okay, let's explain. Until the past few years, a physicist is the person who works in the field of physics. Okay. Agreed that the entire universe is developed from a few mathematical truths, facts, and the principles of symmetry. Symmetry means similarity. Okay, perhaps throwing in, like reaching a handful of parameters. A parameter, you can have it here, is a guideline, a fact, a criterion. So you can say facts and criteria. The guidelines that they use. Like the mass of an electron. Okay, let's paraphrase this sentence. It says that physicists agreed, it's important to know that they are agreed that the entire universe is generated or developed from few mathematical truths. You can understand the whole universe depending upon truths or facts or math. Okay, let's get back. It seemed that we were closing in on a vision. The second sentence usually will explain the first. We'll paraphrase it. We'll emphasize it. It seemed that we were closing in on a vision of our universe, a vision here like a kind of idea or understanding. Okay? Of our universe, we are closing in, like we are coming closer to our universe in which everything could be calculated, okay, predicted, measured, understood. So it stresses and emphasizes the first one.
physicists said that we can understand the whole universe depending upon math. The second said, yes, we're about to have this vision, we're about to have this image or understanding in which everything is calculated, predicted, and understood. Okay, so it sounds like the same. We're about to have a vision in which the universe could be calculated, predicted, and understood. However, two theories, however, here what's before, however, will be the opposite or in contrast with what's after, however, because it's equal to but. Two theories, what are they? Between two commas will tell us. Eternal inflation, the continuous increase. This inflation, the theory of inflation, and the string theory now suggest that the same fundamental principles from which the laws of nature come from, how about them, lead to many different self-consistent universes, okay? Self-consistent universes. Self-consistent means like harmonic. They could exist together. Universes with many different properties. Okay, properties. A property, you can say qualities or characteristics. Let's go and answer the question as used in line 5. Closing in on most nearly means. Closing in on line 5. It seemed that we were closing in on, this is it. We were closing in on a vision of our universe in which everything could be calculated, predicted, and understood. Okay. My context. Physicists is here. Physicists agreed that the entire universe is generated from few mathematical truths. And we are getting closer to a vision in which the universe could be calculated, or everything in the universe could be calculated, predicted, and understood. Here, what we have is a very positive context. We are coming closer to a vision to calculate everything and understand and predict everything. And we can explain the whole universe depending upon mathematical truths or facts. So it's a very positive context. And the word that here, closing in on a vision, we are closing in on a vision. You can say we're coming, to plug in your word, you can say we're coming closer. Okay. This is my word. Let's go and consider each choice. Shutting down. That's number 1. To shut down, it's like to finish an activity, to stop, to prevent, to interrupt. So shutting down is totally negative. And it doesn't match our positive context. So the first one crossed out. Hypothesize. Hypothesize, which means predict, which means explain something depending upon insufficient understanding or insufficient piece of information. So to hypothesize, predict, or expect, or guess, here they said they agreed to explain everything upon math, not guessing. It's mathematical truths. We're closing in a vision in our universe, and everything could be calculated, predicted, understood, not hypothesized, which means to predict depending upon insufficient information. So hypothesize is the opposite of what the passage states. He said they agreed to explain everything depending upon math, not upon hypothesizing and assuming and predicting and guessing. Let's have choice B, approach. Approach means reach, come closer, come nearer to. It matches our word over there, and it's positive too, so I like this one. And fits the context too. Okay. Experiment, to experiment. Choice A. Let's insert it. Experiment, a vision. Closing in on a vision. Experiment a vision. You cannot experiment a vision. You can conduct an experiment about something, but you cannot experiment a vision itself. This one is illogical. This leaves us only approaching as the correct choice.